Hi there, Donald Sienkiewicz from Estate Preservation and Planning in Amherst, New Hampshire. So in my recent video about Aretha Franklin and how she died without a will, and so she didn't have the opportunity to say, hey, probate judge, please don't make my personal representative, my executor, my administrator, buy a big fat insurance policy, a bond, to insure against the possibility that they might steal money from the estate and therefore impoverish my heirs. I said I was going to mention Judge Fairbanks. So I was recently helping a Connecticut estate planning attorney colleague of mine. She had a client whose spouse had died, and they had to open up what we call ancillary probate in New Hampshire because the spouse had owned a lake house up here in New Hampshire, like a lot of people do. And I said, well, you're going to have to buy a bond for your executor. And she said, golly, well, we put in the will and the trust always that please, judge, don't make my executor buy a bond. And I said, well, the judges just ignore that up here in New Hampshire. So why do they ignore that? Why do judges just assume that all the executors out there are going to steal from the estate? Well, because it's about a lawyer and a judge who went bad. So his name was Judge Fairbanks, just like the city in Alaska, and he had a part-time law practice up in the city of Claremont, up in the upper Connecticut River Valley, and he had a lot of clients too as a part-time judge, kind of like my partner Phil Runyon over in Peterborough, but Phil would never do this to his clients. He's as honest as the day is long, so we don't have to worry about Phil. Phil's clients, don't worry about Phil. Okay, so Judge Fairbanks also acted as executor and personal representative of a lot of his clients, including his deceased clients, which is potentially a conflict of interest. Well, it is a conflict of interest and depends on how well the lawyer manages that or not, whether he or she takes advantage of that conflict of interest. So one day, Judge Fairbanks just didn't show up for work at the courthouse. And sadly, Judge Fairbanks showed up some months later dead in a Las Vegas hotel room with a plastic bag over his head. So for all of you who are feeling kind of morbidly curious, I'll put a link to a couple of newspaper articles at the bottom of these notes. Hey, as always, if this was interesting or just kind of gross or just kind of weird, please comment and like and share, because that way LinkedIn will put this in front of more people and more people can benefit from this and waste more time during their workday, I guess. Thanks so much again, Donald Sienkiewicz, Estate Preservation and Planning, Amherst, New Hampshire.